What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm Oscar, and we're with the usual dudes, Colin from Team ARG.
Hey.
And Joe of Joe's Corner. How's that corner? You just released a video.
Yeah,
previous primer, right?
Joe's Corner, but yeah, it was good. It didn't do as well as I was hoping, but
yeah. I thought it was pretty good. You know, I was on it.
Yeah.
So it was amazing. Did we do like a say hi to Oscar joke in there or something? Because I was like, what's that?
I was really surprised.
Hi,
I put that in the video description, so I was very surprised somebody read that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's right. I remember seeing that.
Okay.
Very, very glad.
Before we get too far, definitely special thanks to a lot of the things that help make this podcast and this channel possible. Things like Happy Little Hook Factory. For those of you guys looking for the new set Awakening of the Ancients, which we just had pre-release for this weekend, you guys can find on their website, link in the description below, the new set for $80 pre-order. Those ship out usually right around the weekend of release date. And then they have a singles list that usually goes up a couple of days or to a day of the actual release date, and they also buy singles, so keep an eye on that. So maybe
they also if you guys go over to our Discord channel, they posted an actual sale they have going on. I don't know how much they have left, so make sure to check that out if you're interested. But they had a bunch of Ubers they were trying to get rid of, and they're doing 40% off the TCG player low price on them. And if you spend a certain amount, you got an additional 10% off, etc. So make sure to just head over to our Discord and check out that image and message them if you're interested in any of those Ubers.
Yeah, you can find that on Discord. You can also find it on Facebook in the U.S. market group for Force of Will, as well as our personal Facebook, not personal, our TcgScrubs Facebook page. We did a post on there as well. And then to our patrons over at patreon.com/TcgScrubs for helping us always maintain our equipment, upgrade it, get new things, try new things, produce cool things. So we'll see some things coming out here soon, I'm sure. Such as WGBQ, is it Pennsylvania? I'll be going over there to help stream that event. And that was a helping combination of patrons as well as Vite Ramen, who was so nice to pretty much fund that trip for us and get us out there. We'll do some videos here soon trying out that ramen.
Yeah, and there'll be a lot of stuff while you're at the event streaming for that as well. So keep an eye out for that. But also. And I feel like there's something else related to that, but continue.
Yeah, that's about it. DKP accessories as well. You guys can find the link in the description below as well, but that's just going to be a code TCG for 5% off on checkout.
And that also lets them know that we sent you over in addition to giving you that 5% off. Mm-hmm. And they have additional stuff in the store as well, so you can do stuff like if you buy 2 mats. It's the same price, but it saves you a lot on shipping by bundling that together. And they were finally able to stock up on replacement magnetic inserts. So if you need it more than what the playmat came with, they have those. It's like $5 per however many. So make sure if you get a mat, you're going to want these in multiple decks to get some extra inserts and stuff like that. But yeah.
Anyways, so to it now, the main podcast. We had pre-release this weekend, which was a lot of fun. It was actually today, the day of recording, and we're kind of going to go over some of that. Now, this week is going to be the Argent Saga week. So for those of you who are tuning into the channel, watching a lot of the videos, this is primarily going to be focused around Force of Will for now. But you guys can check out all those other videos that we've been uploading throughout the week. And then maybe we'll have a podcast next week or a week after kind of talking about some Argent Saga stuff. It'd be more exciting once the set starts to release. It's just the intro decks for now, so it's not like super duper exciting. I know some of you are getting ready for that. Was it 10K or something like that? That's going to be in
10K,
in 10K in Atlantic City, right? It's
so.
Invitational only. But anyways, so pre-release, we had 12 players. It was a lot of fun. Downside, which it was a little exhausting only because I was doing the brackets and the timer, and luckily you were on judge call, which was cool. But the AC was out at our store.
Oh yeah.
So they had fans as well as these giant AC units just inside the store pumping air in, but you really couldn't. Okay, maybe you could feel it. Like if it wasn't there, it'd be a lot worse. But you couldn't feel the cold air unless you're in front of one of them. So it was pretty rough, and we were spread throughout the store instead of bunched up. And I remember one of our players like, "Oh, should we all be sitting in a row?" Like, and I didn't think of it because of this reason. I was like, "No, I'm sure it's fine. I just sit wherever." They're okay. And as we're playing, I was like, "Oh my god, it's so hot!" I was like wiping sweat off my forehead. Like, yeah, I'm glad we're not bunched up together. It's gonna be even worse.
It's cool though because the store owner brought over popsicles near the end. That was pretty yummy.
Yeah, she threw some popsicles. It was fun though. It was a fun pre-release. We had 12 players, which we've been hitting 12 the last few pre-releases.
Yeah,
which is nice. Joey Diabolos. That was actually a pretty legit card. I had a turn where I was playing against one of my opponents, and they're talking about how their previous game, Lee, one of the other guys at locals, like played all their hand out, and all their hand was like just low drop cards. And I was like, haha, funny, I'm gonna do the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like all these like resonators out in my field. I had like one card in hand, and then I passed turn. He's like, okay, Diabolos, I'll pay the life. Boop boop. All right, let's roll. Goosh, rolls it. It lands on one of my dudes. It doesn't even matter the sack for Eternal, and then all the others just die. I was like, dang it. That was my entire hand.
I feel like you probably should have like not done that and like noticed that he is making, like leading towards that.
How you can't really identify if somebody's about to play one of those. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like he was either bluffing really hard
drop.
or he was just making small talk. He probably should have picked up on that small talk.
It was just. I think it was just small talk, and we're just, yeah, right. Lee's crazy. He does those things. I'll do it too. But it was interesting. So let me ask you this, Joey. You're a Diabolos player. You drop it in. Mm-hmm. You pay the 600 life, right?
Okay, real quick. So for people who aren't aware, Diabolos is the 5-drop 12/10 that you roll a dice. Or you pick a resonator at random, that resonator, and then everything besides that resonator gets destroyed, and you can pay 600 life to give him Eternal so he survives no matter what.
Yeah. So, Joey, you put him in play, and you pay the life for Eternal, right? In response to you doing that, I cast that blue rune that destroys it.
Yeah.
Do you pay life again? Okay. He kept doing that, got himself down to 700 life, so it was a super easy game on my side in the end. I was able to do another removal card just to remove that from play, and he didn't want to have to pay, obviously, to get down to 1. So while it was a huge threat to go boom and just like blow that field up, I was just able to recover.
It sounds like he was A, already behind, and B, like, I mean, 1200 life is not a lot to pay. Like, if you kept paying that multiple times, then, you know, there's at some point you definitely...
If leaving your turn coming immediately in my turn, I had another opportunity to do it again, would you pay that 600 life? That'd be 1800 between two turns.
I probably would. I would be fine. I would be better at 600, like 100 life with my guy still up and able to do stuff.
Yeah.
But Joey, one thing you got to keep in mind is we're playing in a limited format where you're paying all this life and getting yourself really low, in a format where the Chumimi Master Rune is a theme.
Yeah.
That's
but
true.
I mean, if that's Chumimi Master and there's not,
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't get nature's beauty.
1800 life.
I heard it happened near me. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Between 600 and like 100 and 700 life, and keeping up like my only win condition, I'd probably try and keep up my win condition. But
I hope it's not your.
Well, it's my best win condition.
But. Well, real quick, we'll start we'll backtrack a bit here. So we had 12 people. What colors did you end up running, Oscar?
I ended up running black and green with a splash of white. The white was the 2 Eternal. Was it Brunhild's Shields, whatever they're called?
Yeah.
And then I ended up pulling a.
Everyone was running that.
Yeah, they were. I ended up pulling tree, sprout, the sprout tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I threw it in there for most of the addition removal, which came in handy. And then in my rune deck was a blue rune, so I was only having to cover fix very small. I threw in 1 white stone in my main deck just to help in that situation, and I had 11 stone main deck.
Yeah, I did something similar where I ran black-red, and I had yellow because of the Eternal Resonator, and so I had an 11 stone deck as well because I did half and half and then 1 light stone.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah. My rune deck though, I had was sort of hodgepodgey. I ended up not using like, I think there's 1 or 2 runes that I had 4 runes, and there's 1 or 2 that I never used, just because they would have required a lot of limit counters, and they're just sort of in case I needed it type stuff. But the main one I used was I had a blue rune that was inside of your rune deck. It becomes 1 blue, 1 void, destroy a resonator, 4 cost or greater, draw 2 cards. I used that one a bunch. That one was great. And I had the red rune that was 1 red, 1 void, give something barrier against chant, and that was super useful as well. But it was, I had a green rune as well, but I never used that one. But it was the one that you buff something, you gain life, and you draw a card.
Yeah. 3 Beast conference. I had that one as well.
Yeah, I just always was using my limit counter, so I never used it.
That was really good. Like on mine, like it just swing in. Oh, you're not blocking. Cool. You know what? It's +4/+4. Stacked as Archie it's another +4/+4. It's now like a 12/12. It was originally 4/4. It was pretty good.
Did you end up running the 3 limited counter draft rule, Colin, or did you do the 8 rune?
Oh, I just did 3 limit counters because, golly, there was at least 2 or 3 games where without exaggerating, I was literally, I'm trying to remember if they were both the same or they reversed. But the point is, like, one of the games, I was literally go to my turn, draw for turn, have a red card, put it into my red hand, call a stone, black stone with all my black stones. Past turn, same thing for about 3 to 4 turns, and that happened 2 or 3 times. And it was the most frustrating thing ever because my deck was almost a perfect half and half of red and black, and then the 2 of the yellow resonator, and stone deck half and half, 1 yellow stone. Yet it kept doing that, and it was so frustrating. And so I was burning through limit counters just so I could play cards at all. I was able to pull some like really nice super rares, which was super helpful.
So who ended up winning?
One of our locals got first, Alex. Jenna got second, and then Colin was third. I placed 5th.
So
no, 6th. Yeah, I placed 6th.
Who are like the MVP, like your guys's MVP cards, and like your like most like difficult matchups or like most difficult cards you had to face?
Oh, a real nice one was Obazaruki because I got her in against Melissa, and Melissa didn't know Drain stacked, so I was able to stack Drain and declare blocks, and so it killed whoever she was swinging in with, and then I got like 2,000 more, which was nice.
I was really sad because I had Oberazuki too, and I was really hoping to play her after I had 10 stones out. And she always, the closest I got is I had her out, and she died 1 turn before I was about to call my 10th stone, and I was so sad. Can you imagine having 10 stones out and then still having both her drain counters on her and then blocking her, swinging it? But mine was probably Diabolos, probably. That actually saved me a lot, being able, because a lot of people were running 1 and 2 drops and just like populating their field, or would have big dudes and stuff like that. So it's nice just to wipe the slate clean and start again. And so the combo, and it worked really well because the combo I was doing is I had the addition and field where you can you banish Resonator, puts a counter on it, then you can banish that addition and search your deck for however many counter Resonator and put it in the field. And so what I would do is I would use that in conjunction with a Diabolos, so we'd come in and I would banish my Resonators that were about to die anyways, put counters on it, have Diabolos survive, wipe most of my opponent's field except for 1, and then be able to eventually banish the addition to grab a 5 or 6 drop or what have you, and drop that in the field. So I think Diabolos ended up being the MVP, although there was some other nice ones, but Diabolos and the secret rare or super rare red, I forget his name, but he's a 17/11 6 drop. Yeah, where he looks at, he get all your fire resonators gain swiftness. He looks at the top 5, grabs a 5 drop or less, puts in the field. That was super useful because you don't have to grab a fire resonator with this ability. So I was able to grab like I had the 4 drop flying with 1100 attack that he would grab a lot, or Aburazuki he grabbed a couple times. Stuff like that was really nice.
That'd be a pretty crazy combo.
Having focused on 2 colors with the stones, like the black and green, if you have 4 stones or more resonators, those were like pretty good for me. Because one of them was the gain +4/+2 in flying, and then the other one was just +4/+4.
I'm surprised.
So
those never fired off for me. I never had the right enough of 4 of one, and then one time I did like the 4 darkness stones of 4 turns in a row. I never drew the 1 drop that benefited from that.
Yeah, I think I only had one situation where it didn't go online. It was just like I got 3 black stones, 3 green stones, call it enough stone, and it was just like, oh, here's that white stone you put in the deck. I think it's the only time I had that issue ever. But yeah, they put in like that chip damage was like boop 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 boop. You know, like they wouldn't block with it, and if they did, that's when I saved for like the buff from the rune, for the +4 or from the Chimimi, things like that.
But the thing that was that lost me, that was the games that I lost, was literally just the Chimimi Master Rune. that was it. Is there like both times I was hovering around that 2,000 health mark, I had like 4 resonators on the field, and it goes to their turn. They're like, I'll pay 3. I just win now. And it's like, oh, you can't give barrier. There's no cancels in the game inside limited format or anything. There's literally nothing you can physically do. So it's just like, okay, I lose. And the last game, I had 1,700 health, and he swung in for 17 exactly with the Chimimi Master Rune. And I was like, well, all right. So that was kind of unfortunate. I'm curious how that Master Rune will play into actual New Frontiers format outside of Limited. But inside of that, it didn't feel good to lose to that, because I hate cards that you can't interact with, and I couldn't give stuff barrier, or I couldn't cancel. I couldn't do anything against that, so that kind of sucked. But
was that a secret rare in the set? I don't remember, or a super rare. Sorry.
Super rare? No, I think it's a rare.
Yeah. That means there's going to be a lot more of them out there.
Yeah, the Master Runes are all rares.
Yeah, because I with our prize packs, I pulled 2 of those Master Runes, which would have been nice to have like during the actual event, but whatever. But I found out that the is it 5 or 6 drop? I forget how much. No, I forget how much it is. It's the white resonator that whenever a resonator you control attacks, you gain 400 life. And it has like 1,000 attack and defense. That thing is super good inside of limited format.
Which one?
Because it's like 1,000. I forgot how much it costs. It's white, and whenever a resonator you control attacks, you gain 400 life.
Oh, it's the horse. The horse does that.
The horse, yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually super good.
I went against one of those. Yeah.
I didn't think.
Whenever a resonator you control attacks, yeah. So it's like all the resonators are attacking. It's just like everybody's just gaining life. It was pretty annoying. I had to go against one of those.
Yeah, my opponent like went up to 64 life and got me down to 5 life, and I had killed it at some point. Huh?
I said, psh. I got to like 72 life going against Melissa with just Obozaruki alone.
Yeah, but get out of here. Anyways, so they were just like, it's constantly like, I attack, gain 400 life, attack, gain 400 life. And so I finally killed it, and so I got down to 5 life, and I was like, and I pulled, I forget the name of it. Not Possession, but Monster Reborn. And I was like, I had a choice between Abarazuki in my graveyard and that, and I grabbed that. And I attacked with enough stuff that I think I out-healed what Abarazuki would have done. And it brought me up to 20-something life. And I was able to bounce back because I stole that Resonator. So it's really good.
I'm surprised
I didn't expect
I didn't
that.
peg it as like that amazing either.
Pretty
and that
stuff.
That one cost quick chant that's does 300 times to a J Resonator.
Oh yeah,
how many Resonators you have? Someone played that, and I don't know if I talked about it in our spoilers or not, but if I talked about how strong that was or not, and if I didn't, it definitely clicked while playing. If they just played it and they're like, yeah, I'll do 1,200 to your Resonator for one, and I was like, what? Oh, okay, that's a thing.
I don't know.
That's really strong.
Strong and like constructed, but yeah, Oscar's definitely pointing out how good it was going to be.
Yeah.
In our video.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it still be in light without having to do red, and like in red, you auto run a 1 drop or 1 cost chant that does 500 damage to a J/Resonator. So why wouldn't you in light run a 1 drop that auto does like a minimum of probably 600, if not more, to a J/Resonator? Especially with light, with all the new 1 drops that you're probably going to be running inside of it, you're going to have and with all your reanimating stuff, you're always going to have a decent amount of resonators on the field, and being able to pop like a lot of the J resonators for only having 3 resonators on the field, or 4, you can pop most J rulers. Yeah, 3 is 9. 4
I guess I'm
12.
just imagining that like whoever, there'll be more like resonator destruction, and like they'll be able to handle it. But you're right that like just having 2 resonators on the field is already like 600 damage, and that's definitely worth it. So it'll probably be sealed.
Well, and it's only cost 1, and with Light's will production, if they go to just try and destroy your resonators or wipe your field, in response you real quick destroy something before they die, because it's quick cast. So
it'll probably seal them on the play, honestly.
I don't know if something you would run 4 of in your deck, but it's definitely something to consider throwing in there.
Yeah, it's tough just getting valued like, oh, well, can't protect this. All right, cool, it's dead.
Yeah, that's what, like, your that happened, I think, with Aburazuki. People were sure to kill that real quick before I could ever get the drain.
Melissa got it on one of the plays. I got it in. I was like, all right, gonna do the thing again. She's like, yeah, I'm just gonna kill that now.
Also, I realized I was running that. I didn't realize just how good it is to have. I was running the dragon. That's a 6 cost. When it enters, it deals 200 damage. How many fire magic stones you control to something? But it's a 2015 flyer, and like having that sit in the field, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, actually, this is super good in limited. This is just like this giant looming thing that's super hard to kill, and it has flying as well, so it just does half your opponent's health. And so, like what I did one time is I had also pulled the SR 1 drop that you tap, discard a fire card to deal 600 damage to something. And so I just dropped that into my graveyard. So later on I could just pay 5 to cheat it out of the graveyard into the field, which saves me 1 will, and also makes it it's a better distribution of how much black stones I was pulling and stuff like that. But stuff like that, I was like, ooh, I could see how some of this stuff could really come online, like if you were to actually construct a deck and stuff like that.
Nice.
It'd be interesting to do draft.
Yeah.
Like actual.
I've always thought draft would be a lot more interesting than sealed. Like actually being able to construct and like pick out picks and stuff.
I've actually gotten to really enjoy drafting a lot. I'd be down to draft sometime else when you get back.
Yeah, we should do that. Also, I got to use the edition, Joey. Was it Ancient Runes or whatever? The Sacrificial Runes, whatever it's called?
Or the... Yeah.
No.
The Sacrificial
The sacrificing one.
That column.
Yeah, altar. There you go. That one was actually pretty cool. I was able to get to like...
Oh, the one I was talking about?
Yeah, I was able to get to 5 counters and then like just bust out in like Obazuruki, which is 4, but I'm just saying like... I got to 5 before. I was like, yeah, I'll sack this and start searching now.
Yeah, I was telling Oscar my best play with that edition was I had 6 counters on it, so I sacked it to grab the 6 cost fire dude and put him in the field, and then search for a 5 drop on the top of my deck and put that in the field without spending any will. I was like, that felt real good. And
he hit dragon that enters and deals damage somewhere off of that search.
That's so silly. Oh my gosh! Then both of those guys probably had swiftness and you have to swing in. It's a good play. That's scary. I would have hated facing you, Colin, because you got what, like 3 super rares in your 6 packs?
Yeah, I did really good. Yeah, for my pull, because I got he's a super rare. That 1 drop's a super rare, and is Aburazuki a super rare? Or Diabolos?
Might be. Yeah.
Diabolos is, yeah.
Diabolos is, yeah. So that's 3 I got for sure. Oh, someone at our locals pulled the secret rare for Freya, yeah.
Yeah,
was it as good in person as it looked at in Colin's like little thumbnail, little picture?
So that picture
was my picture, but yeah, no, I did. Yeah, I shared it. Yeah.
So here's the thing.
Yeah. This is great. Is this the trade thing? Or no?
What? Oh no! I wasn't gonna mention that. I wasn't gonna mention that. I gotta.
He was sad. He was sad. I'll say that.
I had a chance to get it, but Melissa was rushing us out, so I couldn't get it. Trade for it. So I was pretty bummed out.
And it was a super cheap trade.
Yeah. But here's something we noticed. One, draft rulers were super good quality this time around.
Oh yeah.
Weirdly good quality. Like they had this nice gloss finish. They felt like just a tinge thicker and stuff. Just something about them was really nice.
Yeah, they were definitely ruler quality compared to the other ones before.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, I'm gonna have to make sure to set these ones aside for like ones that I just keep in my binder or collection, whatever. But on the reverse side, one I forgot to mention this, Oscar. The promos, the buy box promo, the black was washed out on that. Like it looked like it was almost out of ink. And two, textures were pretty bad. At least in my opinion. You were there for the conversation. Don't say, "Oh, really?" to me.
Well, no, I'm clicking to something else. I'm just realizing. I think they gave us two. So the stone packs had buy a box promos with them, and they actually each had 2 buy a box promos because we had 4 of them in total. We had 2 kits. So I was realizing now, like, I wonder if like that's gonna be like that in the when you buy your box or something.
Oh, that'd be interesting. I wonder if it's just that for the kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out that for a box opening. But yeah, we noticed the textures were like it was pretty funny because we're there with Melissa, and she had mentioned like she had pointed out to me the texture was kind of off, and she's going through cards like, oh, I didn't even notice. She showed me a card. She's like, I thought this was just a 4 common, but it's actually 4 rare. But she couldn't see or feel the texturing on it. And I was like, oh, like you can kind of see the texturing, you can see the patterns and all that, but it feels very flat, like what we had in second print runs, and we had during I forget which print run it was, but when we were having the whole printer problem during that whole saga, the textures like took a dip. It feels like that again, where it's just you don't feel the texture; it's just sort of like flat. And so that was very disappointing for me, especially coming off of the new caster set where they don't even have textures, and so I'm like. All the 2 games where I was getting my like pretty fix because Transformers doesn't have any rarity stuff or and all that, so like this is where I get in like neither of them are like really going out there with the quality and stuff like that, so that really bummed me out.
I'm just curious because like yeah, no, it's cool, I like it too, but I was curious, like, does it really matter like once you've sleeved it up?
It does to me, cause yeah, because you good texture, especially the comparison is like Pokemon. You can see that texture glinting under his sleeve still. Like it's very obvious it's textured. With these ones, when you sleeve it up, I'd be surprised, especially for some of them, if you could tell that it's textured or if it's just a common that's full art. As specifically like some of the machine ones. So I do think it matters, and especially. Some of them like I like just for collection purposes. It's not like I'm gonna have it always in a deck and stuff. I don't know. It's like does the back of the card need to have that raised gloss print? You're never gonna see that once it's sleeved up. It's like no, but it's like it makes the overall quality feel real nice, and like you're like, oh, I'm getting my money's worth off of this, even if I don't pull a 4 card or if I only pull 1 and stuff like that. So it's one of those things that it's like, oh, is that card worth spending $80 on, like one of the secret rares, if it's just like the art without all of the cool texturing, and if the black is slightly washed out or stuff like that? I think it all contributes to like just making it feel less cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say successful pre-release overall. Lots of that was a weird clap Colin was doing, but he was just killing a bug.
Yeah, nah.
I was like, oh yeah, okay. But,
everybody.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. We get lots of packs. The way our store sets it up, we got popsicles and playmats. I got to get. I won one of the playmats. Colin got another one. Right? You got one?
No. Where would I get one?
Oh, I thought you got the playmat.
No.
Oh,
You got it. 12th place got it. 11th place got it. And 1st place got it.
Okay.
So I only got 3rd, so I don't get a playmat. But
you got a play set of the promos for pre-release. So.
Yeah. Yeah,
which is nice. So we'll have to trade if that's something I want. I forget if that's playable or not. It's white red.
I think that's super good. It's a 1-drop white that's a 4/4, and you pay white to give it flying and first strike, and you pay red to buff it +2, and you can do the second one as many times as you want per turn.
I think my only concern is just having that red ready available, like as something that's in my either stone deck or. Oh yeah, no, I'm totally okay. Yeah. Anyways, no, it was fun. So, Joey, how'd your previous go?
I hung out and I didn't play any card games.
Real quick on a side thing, when we were getting our packs, we prize packs at the end, we noticed what someone posted in the global group was that like a good, I'd say 40 to 50% of the packs were like slightly opened. Yeah. So we're hoping that it's just these pre-release kits because no one's opened a booster box. So we're hoping it's just the pre-release kits, in which case that's fine. And when we get to the booster box, they're all sealed. But if they're slightly open in the booster box, that's a legitimate problem because people go to the locals and be like, wait, why is this pack open? And no one's going to know. Packs. Yeah, like people are going to think it's the distributor opened it, the locals opened it, somebody did something to them. And if they're open and in a box, they're no longer sealed, which means they're open to humidity and dust and stuff like that. So it's going to affect the card quality, stuff like that. And so I'm hoping it's just pre-release kits, but once again, we'll know when we do the box opening this week.
Yeah, those box openings.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I kind of want to lead that into the conversation of like where we see things going. I guess within the meta, or things that are going to come up and be stronger or not as strong, or stays the way that it is. I know Colin was talking about white because of all its ramp that it's going to have. That especially after having played with some of the cards, there was something he had said went to go eat afterwards.
Yes, I said so. What were I talking about? Additions? Is that a discussion?
No, we were just talking about like you got to play some of the cards and you're. Yeah, no, I can definitely see this going this direction with this deck.
I think I just told you need to go aggressive with your deck because what you're going to do is you're going to be running a bunch of will ramp, and so I forget, there's probably a specific card I was thinking of, but like the design of white, it makes it so that it can very steadily, you can probably not pretty easily, but you can make a deck that goes online and becomes a kill your opponent by latest turn 4 or something around there, without like sacrificing your defenses, which is the case usually with red, is red throws its face at you and leaves itself wide open. So if the hit misses, then you can just, uppercut and they're down. But with white, it has utility inside of it built into this aggressive strategy that you could do, so that you can run things like you have these turn 1s that burst into these bigger things, but in the meantime, these turn 1s, like say Sprout for example, also have defensive measures like addition, destruction. You have Missile Tine and other big drops that are big on them on their own, but also have utility measures of like revitalization and I'm blanking on the other stuff they do, but like everything in white, all of red, if you look at red and its big dudes and its abilities and stuff, it's all about like, oh, give this thing swiftness, buff this thing, do this stuff. And white's all about like it can now be aggressive while also like still peening at your additions, while still removing your stuff from the game, while still reanimating stuff from the graveyard and healing yourself with life to give yourself a buffer and giving stuff barrier, all this different stuff. It basically has all the utility, and now it can technically do the aggression, and which would, I think, might if you're an aggressive player, you'd play this instead of potentially red going forward, and it would push red out of the format temporarily.
Analysis. Like, I kind of agree with it. Like, white has gotten a lot of tools, and they have some really powerful stuff. I'm interested how, like, going forward, how impactful like Sprout will be. Like, if it's like a turn 1 Sprout, will people start running? Will people start running like Sandstorm, just like Sandstorm turn 1 Sprouts, and then like I thought
how much health does Sprout have?
300, 200. Oh, does it have 100? I have it right here.
What does it have?
I thought it had 100 health. Yeah.
It's 100.
100.
So like it's interesting to think about like turn 1 you sprout, I get a free sandstorm off. Like yes, that's one of my runes, but now I get to play like proactive, and now you're on the kind of not really the back foot, but then what if now if you start sticking other sprouts, then those things are gonna stick a little bit better. And
yeah, cause see the problem is that sandstorm's a one and done, whereas sprout, if you kill the one, unless the Brunhild's a bad player and puts more than one sprout into play, which I think is not the best play to put more than one in play unless you're trying to be super aggressive and hope they're not playing Sandstorm. But you'd ideally do one and the next turn do one, and then you're just back at it. And you have one extra.
Like,
yeah, I would definitely, because Sprout is never going to be bad to have. If you run a playset of those and turn
starting hand,
yeah,
like you could just have one Sprout, have that get killed, and then be behind, and then be playing from behind, kind of.
Well. Yeah, but if you're playing one Sprout and they're Sandstorming, then you've drawn 1 to 2 cards since from your starting hand. So in the first 7 cards after you've mulliganed cards, you've only drawn one. Yeah, that would suck a little bit, but I don't think it'd be too bad, especially you've got people might potentially run the 4-drop that produces 2 will, and maybe people will still run Acolyte. Like, I think there's going to be will production to go around in Light besides.
Yeah, I'm really curious how that card is going to impact other decks, what other decks want to do, because it's such a crazy ramp card that you kind of have to deal with it. And then like on top of that, there's also like, what other cards did like green, green got Nature's Beauty and stuff. Is there like, how is that like gonna impact people going forward? Like,
I think it's gonna impact green. I think it'll impact all the green decks, because from what I see, like paying 3 to have your opponent not declare blockers or potentially just indirectly wipe your opponent's field is not gonna be a bad thing ever, assuming you're not running Shimim. But I think it'll change green in the sense that maybe green will pivot and be more defensive, more cancel-y, more just like control-y, and run medium to larger size resonators, so it doesn't have necessarily as many 1 or 2 drops and stuff like that. It pivots to like the larger ones, and it controls everything, puts the big stuff on the field, and then just swings and wins, or swings wipes and then swings wins, and while it's protecting what it put on the field. And so you can have this sort of like, it becomes this sort of mid-game buffer early game deck potentially. Yeah, I don't know if that's the best direction, but we could see something like that.
We were talking about earlier today the Chimimi Master Rune and some things that could stop it. And like looking at it right now, besides the Hanzo Sealing Scroll, like most of the cancels that target a spell or cancel target spell are like 3 costs.
They've definitely,
which is pretty crazy. And then like the few that don't do that simply just say they pay 1 more to not have it canceled type situation.
Well,
so yeah, I don't think there's any like super duper like, I guess in a guild deck, then those 3 costs, they're not much because you're producing that 1 free will per turn, right?
Yeah. And that Hanzo cancel as well.
Like, it'll be interesting to me to see, like, what does green have to go up against something like Sprout, which is, might be one of the big threats going forward. Like, what does, what do other decks have to go against the Nature's Beauty and stuff? And like, what did like black? What else are like how are they going to start like adapting and stuff? I think it was interesting that we just got a Lich in the top. Got first in the GP this weekend, right? I mean, it's still important to realize like.
What we might see is what I think we might see is we'll see this surge of yellow, potentially Brunhild, obviously specifically, but to counter that, I think we'll just like dive hard into maybe like Lucifer type decks, because Lucifer does counter Brunhild in every sense, because you can put that thing in the field. Lucifer, if it wants to, can run Sandstorm. Lucifer has hand destruction, so it can get rid of those sprouts for and or any other threats. And then it also has Evil Elemental Uprising to get rid of the graveyard, and so it can actually control Brunhild pretty effectively, both their hand, their graveyard, and their field. So that I think it might be something where we spike in the yellow, everyone realizes that, and then it just hard goes into specifically Lucifer and maybe Lich. Sorry about my dog.
Yeah, I think black has a lot of good like potential to control like resonators, like I said, like control resonators, control hands, control graveyards and stuff. And it'll be interesting to see how it fares against something like green and with Nature's Beauty, and whether or not like some kind of plan that you can put together is going to be able to stop that black's Lucifer's plan and stuff like that. There's a lot of like interactions that I could see it like if I'm trying to think of like what can you do against Sprout. Like if I'm playing green, I want to play like I have my Lorites, which can stop Sprout, and then I have my and then I can have a Sandstorm in my rune deck, so that like turn like one, if they try and play Sprouts, like I can punish them with the Sandstorm and then like start developing my board. If
what does Lorite do against
Sprout? Wouldn't it cancel its tap activate ability?
It
should.
Does it, Oscar? I forget the wording of it now.
What tap activate?
Yeah.
The producing will?
Of Sprout.
No, you can't stop producing will.
Yeah, I was about to say. Unless there's something weird like tap, remove this from game. After this is removed from game, produce through will, and so you cancel the remove from game ability. But
I don't
think it's worded like that.
Yeah.
And it's only on the Italian.
I have it right here.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think Lorite stops it.
It is, yeah, it's rest, discard a card, remove this card from the game, produce 3 will.
Yeah, so I guess you
can. Yeah,
you can't stop that. You can't stop it.
I didn't know that.
As a side thing, what is your opinion on this, Joe? I was having this conversation with Oscar about additions, how we have all these super cool additions that, and for every sense of the word, should be like good stuff that people are playing, but we're not. I don't think we'll see them get play, or if we do, it's not going to be any decks that top or anything like that. And I think one of the reasons is because addition destruction, it's not that addition destruction is present, it's that addition destruction is integrated into cards. So you don't have what we had before, like Heavenly Gust or Destruction of the Portal or whatever the card was, where it's like pay 2, destroy an addition, bloody. Instead, we have Messenger of the Sun, which has all these cool effects, does all this stuff, and also is a side thing you can banish and destroy an addition. So you're going to run it regardless of whether additions are prevalent. And on the side effect, on the chance that you need to destroy an addition, you just banish it for free and destroy it. And we're getting the same thing now with Sprout, where it can destroy an addition, like just for funsies and stuff. So I feel like we're not going to see additions see play, not because there's addition hate, but because there's addition hate integrated into other effects of other cards, and that's what's going to kill additions, not just the fact that there's addition hate.
Here's like when we had Jeremy on and he was talking about that also, my gut reaction and like thinking about it, right, like it's really only white has that addition hate. Like green has green has the 1 cost rune card, but nobody plays it. So if you bring an addition based like some deck that's really amazing that comes into like the scene, when you come into that GP, you're probably not going to face any like addition hate in green. Like obviously you're going to face a ton in white, and I think that's where you're really just going to lose. So yeah, you're probably right that white is just going to like edge out like all the addition hate, especially like. But it's interesting to me that like if I play an addition and somebody sacrifices their Sprout to kill my addition, is that like a +1 for me, or like what, I don't know how to really like quantify that. Like
it depends on the addition and the timing of it.
Yeah, and when it all happens, because the better play is just to sacrifice Messenger, and then Einharger's it back.
Right. And like, yeah, they can recycle that though as much as they want. But then they're going to recycle something anyway. So, what is it? I don't know. I think Messenger of the Sun is a worse example than Sprout, because Sprout, they actually has an actual decision where.
Yeah, I would rather not lose a Sprout than lose the other. Because even having today in play Sprout, I didn't need the 3 white wheel, but I was looking at it like a situation if this was a Brunhild deck and constructed. I honestly would rather not lose it for the Destroy Target edition. That was just what I did for limited play, but if I guess push came to shove and I needed to do something, then
I don't think Sprout's going to be too much of an issue, but I think Messenger of the Sun is, and he's already kind of an issue. And he kind of was an issue with that. So I don't know how much hold on. I don't know how much Sprout's not going to really change it too much, but really white is still the only deck that has access to a good edition hate and edition hate in general.
Well, I mean, I'd argue that green edition hate is still really good. Just it needs to be run more. But people, I think if white
if people don't run it, then it's it's not there. If I brought a deck, I wouldn't be afraid of green edition hate. But
all it takes is one tournament,
right? But
with additions
you win that one tournament, and then
on the board. But
now all of a sudden, there's all this. It's like how Jeff was originally saying it. There's a bunch of rock paper scissors going on, and if people are bringing in edition hate, and then I stop playing my edition based decks, then they have dead cards again. That's just for the green matchup. At the end of the day, I wouldn't bring an edition deck to a tourney because there's white players out there, and I'm gonna get blown out by them. So it doesn't even matter anyways.
There's a lot of white players. But no, I think we're gonna. I mean, the point I'm getting at though is we're gonna see Brunhild decks probably surge, and because of that, it's gonna just snuff out edition as a side effect. Not that they've been prevalent at all up to this point, but they almost could have been, because we saw some pretty good editions. I think even though the 2 cost is kind of high, the edition that I was using of the Banish put a counter on there is super good, because not only is it a way to use your resonators that are about to die for fuel, but you can also do it as plays in response. So if a player, say for example, I did this where a player plays the card that says deal 1,000 damage to target resonator, remainder goes to your opponent's face. In response, I banish it. There's no targets. I don't take damage to my face. No, because there's no original target, so there's no. It doesn't. The spell doesn't happen that I'd be aware of.
The 1,000 damage spell. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The 1,000 wouldn't hit my face anymore, and because it's not hitting the resonator. So there's trick plays like that are super cool for that edition, and eventually, and that's not even talking about its effect of searching for a resonator once it gets enough counters. So there's cool stuff to be played with editions, and I really like editions. I've always liked editions in Force of Will, but it sucks because there's always just it feels like just a drop too much hate for editions. Just like it's always just a tiny bit. It's somewhere, for example, Heavenly Gust was meant to counter Regalia, but it also included additions in the wording. So by countering what was the big threat, it made it so that I could never play additions. And so now the same thing's happening with Messenger of the Sun and probably Sprout of it's just a side effect of them doing other stuff, and additions, at least on a competitive level, can't be played. At your locals, you could probably do it fine. I doubt people are that mad at editions that they're going to be going all in on those. I don't think we really have any Brunhild players besides Oscar, anyways.
Yeah, that's it. I'll have the edition hate, but and I already had Messengers and the Rune that was either Gain 1,000 or Disney edition. So
that's right.
So I'm already on that train, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Choo-choo.
I think we're near that end of the podcast where I'll go ahead and pitch one more time that I'll be at WGPQ Bethlehem, Pennsylvania this coming weekend, the 25th and 26th. There'll be a live stream run by us. So it'll be broadcast on both YouTube and Twitch. So you guys aren't wanting to watch on YouTube or whatever, just check out Twitch, same channel handle and all that. Yeah. And it'll be fun. And if you guys are going, say hi. I won't be playing. I'll be busy streaming, but I'll make sure to.
And all those cards
are hopefully we don't run to technical difficulties
for this tourney, so it's gonna be absolutely insane.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes.
I'm super excited to see. Yeah.
just slightly concerned about maybe misplays because I know like there's probably confusion on there's some cards somebody asked about like the play order of banishing a card as a cost of another card, and playing which ability goes first, which is usually the card that was sacrificed is one that goes first.
Yeah, it's
like
right. And hopefully
Guinevere.
Yeah, and I was thinking of Cheshire Cat.
Yeah. Hopefully the CR is updated before then, and then on the reverse side, if the CR is updated before then that'll also be kind of confusing as well. So it's sort of like there's no good way to go about unless we had a stream judge, which we won't. But it's just going to be we're going to leave it up to you guys to let Oscar know when something's going on.
So what are you guys'
predictions
going into
it?
it?
My prediction is something Tramimi is in top 8 because of its rune, or people attempting to show that it's master rune could really take advantage of the game. Now I don't know if that's necessarily going to win it. I would love to see a Brunhild, but I think it would be Lucifer. I think Lucifer still got, still has chops
all the way.
there.
We also might be a sneaky Loki machines with some of that Loki support now.
I'm gonna give it up to. I think Shmimi's gonna top it all. I think she can get first place.
I don't think so. I think it'll be. I think Brunhild for this first go round. I think I'm going Brunhild.
Okay. I'll stick Lucifer then.
This is an
actual ground.
Nice spread out.
You guys remember this?
It's me like we get disappointed when like it's Gil again. Like
yeah. Yeah.
But thank you guys for listening, and again, Argent Saga week this week, and then we'll see if we do a podcast next week. It's not guaranteed since I'll be out of town. We'll see if we can do one. We're talking about it, but we'll see what happens. If not, we'll see y'all next time. Bye.